Yo, what is going on YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about Oshinoko, the anime that absolutely set the anime scene on fire last year. I had no idea what it was about. I didn't know what this anime was. It was on High Dive. I don't have High Dive. And then my Instagram and my YouTube completely exploded, both with clips, with songs, with everything. Everyone was talking about it. It was absolutely insane. I'm like, I might need to get High Dive to watch this. It was so popular. I was surprised. I really was. There's a lot of things about this anime that are phenomenal, that are absolutely insane, and some things about this anime that are really awkward, really weird, and it's just like, why? So the big question is Oshinoko brilliant? Or is it kind of a bust? So let's get into what Oshinoko is about. So it starts off with this guy, he's a doctor, and he's talking to this little girl, I believe she's 12. Now, she's terminally ill. This doctor kind of likes to just screw around. He likes to go in the patient's room and just kind of talk with them, shoot the shit, and kind of like not really work. You know, he likes to kind of like hang out, have a good time. So he's talking with this girl, and she's terminally ill, stuck in her bedroom, and they became friends, right? And she's obsessed with idols. She'd be like, that is so amazing what they're doing, that's so cool, I would love to do that. Imagine being their kids, right? Imagine what it's like being born into that and having the connections and all of that and that atmosphere. And she sadly ended up passing away, and he even said, he's like, listen, if you become an idol, I'll be your fan, right? Giving her a little bit of hope. She ends up sadly passing away, and that took a big toll on him, and I feel like they talk about it, but they don't, about how big of a toll it really took on him, because like she's his wallpaper. Like that death obviously really affected him, and afterwards he became obsessed with idols as well, more specifically this idol named Ai, which was her favorite. Well, later on, as he's obsessed with her, he gets a patient who is pregnant. She's 16. Her name's Ai, is Haya Hoshino. So he was over the moon. He was absolutely ecstatic because he's fangirling. It was a bit weird, but he was the one that was going to help birth her baby. Well, being the superstar she is, she has stalkers. Well, one of the stalkers ends up finding the hospital she's in, and one thing led to another, and he ends up getting killed right as Ai's about to give birth. So what ends up happening is he ends up getting reincarnated as one of Ai's children, her son Aqua, and we end up finding out that her other kid, Ruby, happens to be that same 12-year-old from all those years ago that was obsessed with Ai and that got this doctor into idols indirectly. So it ends up being this kind of weird start that ends up like, okay, we had the 16-year-old Ai, who's the mother of Ruby and Aqua, which are two people that are reincarnated, that know each other from a past life, but don't know it's each other, and it's very complicated. It ends up getting really into idol culture in that whole music industry and a bunch of different industries. It gets really insane. Ends up happening is at the end of the first episode, is a long episode, Ai ends up getting killed by the same stalker. The father is a complete mystery and seems to be controlling it all, seems to be, you know, leaking her information and her location and kind of setting things up. It turns out he's probably an older guy who's in the scene. Probably some scummy stuff going on. I think scummy stuff is going on. It's not a good look. But then the rest of the season, it takes place with about Ruby and Aqua. Aqua's trying to find his birth father, and he's going to kill him for what he did to his mother because he's still obsessed with Ai. And it gets really into, you know, this insane show business. Ruby wants to become an idol. She wants to follow in her mother's footsteps, while Aqua goes down the movie route and the TV route. And it is just absolutely insane. It's both of them growing their careers, but also finding out more about the birth father and about their mother. And it is chaotic, and it is awesome. There's, like I said, there's so many things that are absolutely phenomenal about this anime, and some things that we'd rather not have in the anime. So I say, we talk about the bad things first, because they are all in the first episode. Now, I believe past the first episode, this anime becomes very good. So I think we should address the elephant in the room, talk about the nasty stuff, and then kind of move from there and talk more about the positives. So what was your opinion about the first episode?
So like there's a lot to unpack, and I think it does a good job of like setting up this complicated dynamic, and like it gives you a good feed for a plot, right? My issue is like you have an hour, it's like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was long.
It touches on a lot of like weird taboos, like teen pregnancy. Obviously that's like unique in an anime. We don't really get that stuff much, but also like Aqua and Ruby's relationship. I mean, we've talked about it. We literally just talked about it on the last podcast, the Wincest.
うわ、これは神作認定せざるを得ない。
いや、それは常識的に考えて義理の兄弟なんじゃないの？
バカ野郎！実の兄弟だからいいんじゃねえか！
people out there. Like, it's a trope and it's not uncommon anymore. So like there's some weird stuff in that line, and then kind of like the whole idea of a stalker and like, crossing that line between like a fan and whatever else you want to call it, something more than that. Obviously like crossing boundaries. So like I think it does a good job of like touching on taboos, but in the sense that like it's building this story, or like using it for like the story, not so much like showing people it just shows people the dark side of like, I guess, idol and entertainment industry in a way. First episode is like, I don't know, it sets up a story well, but there's a lot of like weird stuff in it.
Okay, so actually, I agree with you from that aspect. So here's the thing. So not only does this anime just hit on every weird fucking taboo you can put in an anime, but then it mixes them. Like, not only we're gonna have Ruby and Aqua, but we're gonna have one of them be 30 and another one be 12. You know what I mean? You're setting like all of these very weird situations into one. Like, you're mixing them at this point. You're like, oh, let's add taboo like they're like ingredients. You're like, oh, let's just mix them up and see what happens. It's like, dude, you're creating such weird scenarios. But the one thing I will say, and that really bothered me in the beginning, but as I watched the anime, I'm like, if they're doing this intentionally, it's smart. And that's I being 16. When I first saw this, like I saw clips, when I heard that she was 16, I'm like, what the, like, no. Like when I saw the clips, I was like, dude, she's in her 20s easily. Like you're saying that person's 16, and then you're saying, okay, she's pregnant, got taken advantage of by someone in the industry who's older and in a position of power. That's fucking disgusting. I hate that. I really didn't like that. That was one of the taboos that I absolutely hated. But as I progressed in the season and in the show, I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe that was the intention. To get pissed off like that, to be annoyed like that, to be disgusted like that, because maybe they want to build the following for Aqua, because Aqua's hunting down his birth father that caused all of this, and he's going to kill him. So it's like, I think that they really want to rally that support for Aqua and really help like solidify that plot point and have that backing where it's like it's building up to that scene. You know what I mean? That finale of Aqua doing that. So I was like, if they did it for that reason and not just for let's add something weird, which they do in animes. I mean, they add some weird stuff, completely unnecessary, just to have it. Then like I can see why they did that, but like some of the aspects though, where it's like, okay, like the 12-year-old got reincarnated, like things like it's not like too bad in season 1. And listen, we're only talking about season 1, not season 2, and we didn't read the manga, but we heard the rumors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it's one of those things where it's like the tropes really kind of make this. It's like a blemish on this anime, for sure.
That's a really good way to put it. Like the whole incestuous relationship between like Ruby and Aqua, which like it's always like one way. They're both not like in love with each other. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it still is like awkward, and like you said, it kind of casts a shadow on like it's actually a very like dramatic and mysterious plot. Like the actual plot of Oshinoko is really cool, but yeah, I've seen enough random manga panels, and like I've heard the complaints. Like there is some truth to like the taboo, and I guess when you look at like idol culture and stuff, it's legit. The whole like age thing I do think is weird, but if you look at like a lot of like really popular idol groups, I know this to be true for like Korean groups. You have like girls that are 15 and 16 that are getting like put into the spotlight, and they're being shown more as women as an idol would be, but they're a teenager. You know what I mean? So like I do get that, and it is gross, and you can only imagine what they deal with and like how people, kind of come at them or come after them, because I mean, it's no different in Hollywood. I'm sure they get all that crazy stuff in there, but yeah, it's some taboos that I think kind of affect the show overall. But once you get past, like the 3rd or 4th episode, once you really get into it, the plot becomes a little more clear, and you get less of that stuff, which is good.
I feel like you get a lot less of it just in the 2nd episode. I feel like right after the 1st episode, that's where they kind of like really stop with it. And again, it's like I feel like the whole thing with the age thing too is to kind of like build that like hatred and disgustingness, and maybe to like really shine the this industry's bad type thing. Like there's a lot of disgusting shit in this industry that we're gonna make you feel uncomfortable because it's real. So you should feel uncomfortable. You should be alerted to this stuff, and it should suck. You know what I mean? Because like people are actually like living it. You know, like sorry you feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
watching it. Like imagine what that 16-year-old feels like. Especially because there's that one scene that I was like, Aqua, bro, start a fucking list. That one dude
Yeah.
was talking about where he set things up in private for I, like dinners and stuff like that. When he's like, yeah, like she came back with like her face looked like a woman's, and I was like, bro, you disgusting piece of shit. The way he said it and a smile on his face, it was like, dude, like the people, like there's certain people in that anime that are just so like it's like predatory and it's like it's nasty, and you can see just how yeah, like shitty the industry is, like in the how nasty it can be. So I think from that aspect of like really trying to like shine a light on that, could have been like they did a great job because yeah, it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. It's gonna make you like hate it.
Yeah, you're definitely right, and it's a good like plot device to get you, like you said, to rally behind Aqua and like his motivation for doing all of this. You know what I mean? So it is a good plot device, but yeah, it also hopefully like makes you sick when you think about what a lot of these idols have to put up with, and it's a lot of women. You know what I mean? There's not. I mean, there are male idols. I feel like it's more like Korean music, boy bands, boy groups, and stuff. I'm sure they deal with it too, but yeah, it just I think like you said, kind of makes you like disgusted, and you want to see justice for Aqua and obviously for I too.
Yeah, so like that was like a speed bump, but I will say at the end of the first episode, I saw that coming. Like I knew it was gonna happen. I saw the shorts, I saw the scenes. It still hit. Like that was still hard to watch. I was like, yo, like they did an amazing job with that last scene with I being killed. Like again,
Yeah.
when you seen it multiple times from like clips and stuff, and you're watch the full thing now, and you're like, and it still hits. It just shows just how good it was. Like that was heartbreaking. Absolutely, like, dude, the trauma that it caused, which the Aqua is insane.
Yeah.
And like you even see that, like they even talk about it, how Ruby's like, yeah, my brother was not the same ever since that day. Like he's a
Yeah.
totally different person.
I think it sets up like a good character. I don't know if you could call it character building, but that
Oh,
trauma that affects
absolutely.
him,
Yeah, yeah,
like yeah, that trauma, like it changes his personality, and I actually liked Aqua's character the most. He's very like methodical, and he's very focused and calculated, and everything he does has a purpose, or like is driven to push further him and his agenda, get closer to his end goal, which is finding out the mystery about their father and Ai's killer.
yeah.
So like I really liked Aqua's character, but yeah, it sucks that's kind of like how he had to develop that persona. But yeah, the scenes hit, and like some of the animation was really really cool. Like once you get past that first episode, there's a lot of really cool stuff in this season.
Yeah, like let's talk about the good stuff now, right? Let's talk about the positives, because like there is
Yes.
so many positive things to talk about. Like that's the thing where it's like you have like the really bad tropes, but like you just have so many amazing things as well. Like you said, like Aqua's your favorite, dude. I can't pick a favorite. I genuinely love them all. I think Aqua's amazing. Ruby, Akane, Kana, like they're all just so amazing in their own ways. I think that the story is so well written. I think the characters are so beautifully designed and written as well. Like I love every aspect of it. I love Aqua and Ruby's interactions, like especially when they're kids and like they're like very protective over their mother. Like oh my god, like when Kana's like making fun of Ai on set, and like they're trying to pretend like they're not Ai's kids, and they're like Aqua and Ruby like freaking out, like I'm gonna kill this bitch. Like
お兄ちゃん
分かってる相手はガキだ殺しはしない
fuck her up. Like those two interacting was amazing. Kana and Ruby interacting is just the absolute best, dude. Ruby's like this
So much
happy-go-lucky, like just like carefree person, just ripping Kana apart. Like she just destroys Kana. Like the way that she just gets under her skin. Like, oh, you're the what was it, the baking soda kid?
誰だっけ
ああれじゃない重曹を舐める天才子役9秒で泣ける天才子役
She's like, no,
Yeah, dude.
like stop bringing that up. Like there's just the characters are phenomenal. I don't think there's really like better written characters anywhere else, especially that many, and just the interactions with all of them is just so good. Like there's just so much to love about this. I loved, again, I think the story was amazing. I think the character designs were amazing. The interactions. I think getting introduced to idol culture was actually really cool. Let me know in the comments down below if this was the same thing for you. But like, I don't know anything about idols. I don't like follow anything. I don't know anything. Like, it's a completely foreign thing to me. So to have, an anime that kind of shines the light and kind of really talks about it, and also gets into the acting scene, I think that was just like opening up a whole new world to you, and they do it in such a way where you see the ugliness but the amazing side of it as well, and you just see all of it. You see all of its forms, which is just really cool to see, because I think everyone knows that a lot of these industries are pretty awful. Like, they have pretty awful sides to them, so to really see everything, to see them like not have kid clubs with a lot of stuff, I think was really nice as well. Like, they just did so much that was so good.
Yeah, and one of the things they do best in like just a pretty short season outside of episode 1 is like flesh out a few different characters very well, and like they don't give you too much, but like they give you a lot with these characters. And I think it makes you, it makes them very easy to love, and like you get attached to like your main cast pretty easily. And yeah, the idol world is crazy. Like, as somebody who's a connoisseur of all things, like a lot of like K-pop groups, a lot of girl groups, and then like streamers, and obviously like Hololive and Niji Sanji, like the girls that stream and do that stuff. Like, it's kind of cool to see like the behind the scenes and how much work it is, because like a lot of people think it's just like show up, be pretty, sing and dance, but there's a lot of stuff that like you have to do, and like the practice and time that goes into it. I mean, if anybody's tried to like actually dance to like anything at that tempo, like any like tough music, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's a workout. So like, I've really come to like the just like the talent it takes for like idols, and like that is reflected here, and like it's cool seeing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You see it. You see the practice.
Yeah, especially like towards the later parts of season 1, like Ruby's really in the mix, Kana's in the mix, and Kana's more of a veteran, I think. But it's really cool to like see the whole part of it, not just the finished product or like, a fancy music video or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, it's just so many different sides to the anime, like the comedy in it as well, like the very seriousness, the sadness of it, because you get Akane and everything that happens to her online, like that shit's very real. You know what I mean? That stuff's absolutely insane. The way that the industry holds like treats certain people, like Akane, you feel so bad for how she's putting her heart and soul into this TV show, and they're like, yeah, this is a joke, we don't give a shit. You know what I mean? You just feel bad for that. You see the whole thing with Ruby wanting to become an idol. It's like there's just so many sides to it, and it's just so funny as well. The comedy scenes just had me, there's so many of them where like it really brings you on this chaotic roller coaster of emotions throughout the entire season, where like you're really locked in, and then you're really happy, and you're laughing, and then you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, and it just gets like real serious, and it highlights on certain key things where it's just like, damn. The one workout dude was also really funny.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, like I think you said it perfectly. Like, there's a lot of different emotions you experience, because like it's pretty intelligent. It's intelligently written. So like you have like Aqua, there's drama there, there's mystery there, you have comedy, you have that like sibling relationship between Aqua and Ruby that's like fun. They're messing with each other. You have good friendships. And then like, it takes you on like a lot of different, while still moving forward with the plot, it takes you to a lot of different places, and like I enjoyed it. And there was like a few times, especially as I got to the end of the season, it was like, damn, this is like really well done. This was well written. And you can focus on the negative, but there's way, way more positive to be enjoyed if you were to watch this full season. And like, I don't know, you can have like your critiques or whatever, but I think most people would enjoy it and have fun with it.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. Like, episode 1 was tough to kind of sit through. It was kind of just like, there were some key parts where I was like, I'm really not a fan. This really isn't it. Episode 2 on, I was hooked. I think I binged it in a night. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was.
I watched the entire thing in a night. Like, it was like really easy to just get absolutely hooked on and to just binge the ever living hell out of it. And it's just it's just crazy. It's a great story. I think that it walks a line though, and that's why it's great to talk about, like, is it brilliant or is it bust? Because like it walks that line where it's like it is so good, but it can go downhill so quickly, even after an established first season. Because like there are some things that are just like, I'm not like I don't fuck with in this anime. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like which side are they gonna walk on more? You know what I mean? What side are they gonna focus on more? Like you're trying to show the ugliness of the industry, but like the industry is pretty fucking ugly. You know, it's like
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and
Yeah, good.
I'll go. You go. You're good.
No, you go.
All right. It's good, like that you do get to see a lot of that different stuff, but yeah, like it depends kind of how much you lean into, the brother sister relationship and like the romance there. Like I'm with you, it's a little weird, but there's a lot there that's still like enjoyable, and at times it's like a thriller, you know what I mean? And like it gets dark and it's mysterious, and other times it's like it's lighthearted, but it's still not like, I guess when we say like is it brilliant or is it a bust, like it wasn't like watching something like D4 DJ or like a Bang Dream where like it's them going to school and then like playing at their fucking art school or whatever and pumping out songs and stuff. Like there's a whole plot behind the entertainment stuff involving the industry, which I think is really entertaining and interesting. And like you could enjoy that plot with, if you can, find a way to ignore the stuff you don't like.
Yeah, well, because it's like this complex web where it's like you have Ruby diving in, where Ruby's like, this is like, but she is that 12-year-old who just wanted to be an idol, like even before everything happened. You know what I mean? And she was confined to her room the whole time. So for her, she's like, oh my god, this is a gift. This is a second chance to like go live that life I've always wanted to live. So she's living it to the fullest. She's going out and she's making the friends, she's making the connections, and she's giving it her all to make that career. Whereas you have Aqua, who only lived for Ai. And now that she's dead, his entire life is devoted for finding her killer and killing them and dealing with that. So you have those two complete polar opposite things where Ruby's trying to live to the fullest and Aqua's already dead. Aqua's not here. Aqua is just filling out a mission and then he's done. You know what I mean? Like he's not living at all. He's just progressing for his objective pretty much. And then you have the complex web of emotions and characters involved in both sides. You know what I mean? Because then you have Aqua, using certain people to get to the top and trying to use people as pawns, and just he only cares about what he's focused on. And then you have someone else who's just trying to live life to the fullest, where it just makes things complex, and the interactions between everybody's just phenomenal. It's so good.
That's like perfectly said. Very well said. There's a lot that's going on, but like even the supporting cast, like Memcho, Akane, and Kana, like they still are like fleshed out well enough that like you can enjoy them and like you root for them or whatever. But it's not all just like that dark mystery. Like you said, you still have like the idol side and like what Ruby's doing that I think breaks up that whole like dark mystery aspect. Mm-hmm. But it's very enjoyable on both sides.
Yeah, it's kind of just, I don't know, I kind of just want to see like how it plays out, because it's just like there's just so much there. It's just not like entirely Aqua looking for his birth father. You know what I mean? It's just like there's so much more. It feels like that's like the main objective of this anime, but it feels like 5 or 10% of the actual anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it feels like it's in the background so much.
They didn't get very far in the first season. Like, I don't know. I've never read the manga. I don't know how much it has or like how far they adapted, but I felt like they didn't flesh out so much, or maybe they got to a point where it's like you wanted to drag people into season 2, and I want to see how it plays out. Like, I have to fucking know how some of these like lines come together. So like for me, it's like, yeah, that was well written. If you want to watch season 2 and you want to come back for it, then you at least respected and enjoyed it enough to want to see how it plays out. So like I would say in a way it is brilliant. You know what I mean?
And Aqua, like he actually got pretty far. Like it just didn't seem like it, because he actually ruled out a couple of people that could possibly be, and he got some leads that led him to the theater group. The theater group's like the main area where we're probably going to get like some big intel of who this guy is, because his birth father, that's where she met him. It's still a secret, but that's where he was. So this whole second season is now investigating that theater group pretty much to figure out who this guy was, or who this guy is.
Yeah, and like I definitely want to see that come together. I have no idea what happens, so like it'd be cool to see, Komichi or whatever it is, the idol group, like kind of see how see how it plays out for them and see if they like stick with Kana or not. Because I guess she's gonna stick to being an actress. Like maybe she'll end up with Aqua in like that line of work, keep doing stuff. Like it'll be interesting to see how all this stuff comes together. Like I'm looking forward to season 2 for sure.
So a big question, obviously, probably the biggest question, and don't be scared about this. Team Red or Team Blue? I saw that was a very big debate when season 1 was coming out.
That's interesting. I would say Team Blue, but
Team Akane?
yeah, like that's tough. It's tough though, because like I feel like Kana's like probably more like personality wise, like she does fit and like she knows Aqua and like
Yeah.
she's liked him, you know what I mean? But a part of me feels like I don't know if she'll like stick around in the story with her like kind of getting sidetracked with the whole
Really?
idol group thing. I don't know like to the depth at which she'll be in season 2.
Oh,
Did you feel that way? Or?
No. She's in the theater. Remember, she's a part of that. She got a role.
Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna focus more on her in like an acting perspective,
Yeah.
I guess. So, all right, yeah. Now I would go with Akane. Something about the bob, dude. I like short hair. What can I say?
Wait, Akane or Kana?
Akane.
She's got the bob?
She has short hair too,
I feel
right?
like she has long hair.
Akane has that like the bob, right?
Oh, I guess she made a cut it. I don't know. I guess I don't pay attention. I watch too much anime. I forgot. I mean,
yeah.
for me personally, I think they both deserve better. But I think
That's fair.
that Kana fits with him best just because their personalities match well. Because like even Ruby said it,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna stick around long unless you're talking shit with him. That's the way to keep Aqua around is if you're like getting under his skin and like fucking with him. And Akane cannot do that. She's just physically not capable of it. Like she does not have the mental
True.
capacity to be able to do that. But like for me, like Akane, like I feel like she needs to just be her own person. Like I love Akane. After everything that happened, how can you not root for her and just like want the best for her? But it's just like you're
Yes.
pretending to be somebody else. You're pretending to be I. You're fulfilling this dude's weird fucking fantasy. You know what I mean? Like I want
Yeah.
you to be you. You know what I mean? Don't pretend to be his dead mom.
She is cool. Like she's a
Exactly.
good character. So like
She's a
be
great
you,
person.
yeah. And everybody's already rooting for you. So like just be you and be happy, and we'll root for you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but I'm definitely
But yeah,
on Team Red for that one.
For my personal thing, yeah, I'd probably go Team Blue. But you're right, kind of fits with his like Aqua's grit. You know what I mean? He's like he doesn't say everything that he thinks, and like I feel like she's smart enough or intelligent enough to know how to like you said, get under his skin and kind of fuck with him. And
Well, yeah,
there's no doubt
she's got
there's
balls.
no
She
doubt
just
that he,
comes
like-
at. Go ahead, my bad.
he probably likes it to a degree. You know what I mean? Somebody who keeps you on your toes.
Oh, how could you not? Someone who's just straight out with it, like just doesn't hold back and just says it. Like I love how like kind of has like that accidental fuck you attitude. Just like doesn't give
Yeah.
a shit. She just comes at people. It's the best. I think it's hilarious. But I think at the end of the day, when you're talking about Oshinoko and you're talking about is it bust or is it brilliant, I think if it leans into the tropes, it's a bust. I think it's something that I'm not going to be able to stick with. If you really kind of get into the tropes and get into the creepiness, and it's just you're focusing on like the uncomfortable stuff, and you get too carried away with it, because a lot of animes do that. They won't just like have it in for the story. They get like they overdo it. Then I feel like it's just gonna be hard to stick with the anime. But if you don't lean into that and you focus on the story, you focus on the characters and the interaction in the industry of acting and idol and music, I feel like it is such a brilliant anime. I feel like it is so good. So it just all depends on which direction they really kind of focus on in the future. That's how it dictates it for me.
I definitely agree with you. And like I think if I were to suggest this to somebody, I enjoyed it. I'll be there for season 2. I think part of me would like feel self-conscious, so they'd be like, yo, what is this weird like incestual relationship?
Yeah,
It's like
I
if you
would-
couldn't look past that, I wouldn't want to suggest that to somebody. Like that it is kind of a bust. But like as a fan of idols, and dude, I have like fucking Wan Young from IVE as my background on my phone. So like I'm a real
who
fan.
that is.
Yeah, just some K-pop chick. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know too much, but I like maybe I'm partial because I like that stuff and like I'm into like idol culture and that world. But the writing and the anime itself was very enjoyable. So like I think if you are interested, it would be brilliant, but if you were to watch it on a whim and you weren't like into idols, I feel like it would be a bust.
Well, I kind of watched it on a whim, and I don't know anything about idols, and that's what made me kind of like it. But again, I think it because of
That's
the amount
fair.
of tropes and the mixing of them, you couldn't show this
Yeah,
to somebody who's new to anime. If you showed it to someone who's new to
yeah,
anime, they'd freak the fuck out. It has to be someone who's been watching anime for a minute. They're kind of used to this stuff. They're like, okay, like this happens, you know what I mean? But then they'd have the patience to sit through that to get to the story where it's like, yo, shit, this is good. You know what I mean?
yeah. And then you reap the rewards of the story. You can look past, a couple moments or like you said, those tropes that are like off-putting.
Yeah, so again, the tropes make it a bust, but other than that, it's really fucking it's a shockingly like damn, like it's so enjoyable.
Very, very well written. I loved it. Like I said, I'm excited for season two, but I would like to know how other people feel about it because I know the hype about like Yasubi, the song was sick, and I don't know, characters design's fucking amazing, and like the characters themselves are great, but I don't feel like I have a general consensus on how people feel about it. Do people love it? Do they hate it? Does the tropes ruin it for them? I'd be interested to know how more people felt about season one.
Season 1, I think it was loved. It almost won anime of the year. Like it was in the
Oh shit,
conversation.
okay.
Yeah, it was in the conversation. It was in the selection. So you could have voted for it. And that's with it being on a high dive. I think that plays a massive role that an anime that was on a high dive, was a candidate for anime of the year. Like that's impressive.
That's huge.
But the problem is that you're hearing then all the people that like watched it were like, "This is amazing," went to the manga, are now like, don't know how we feel about it anymore. Then I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen in the future? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to like this if other people are like, yeah, and the manga they get a little too carried away. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
so I feel like season 1 though, I feel like the people like everyone's opinion on and thoughts were very positive. If I did guess.
Yeah, that's good because I enjoyed it, but yeah, like I said, we haven't read the manga, so it's tough to know what comes next. But
And
I've
also,
seen enough to know it could really get carried away with some of the weird shit.
but also, like, when does that happen? Like, is that going to be in season 2, season 3, season 4? Because if you get me 3 seasons in and then it happens, that's I'm gonna have more patience. Sadly, you know
I'll
what I
be more
mean?
attached. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can deal with whatever, you know. But like, if you have a good
Spoiler.
story,
I
like
don't know if we can put that in.
I don't know, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is. Yeah, it's in the manga. But like, I feel like I don't know. You do get enough of that in season one. Like, she does feel that way about him. Like, I think deep down, you don't want it to come to fruition, but like, it's in the back of your mind. Like, that relationship is still there and like active. That romance is active. At least for her. Aqua doesn't feel that way
Yeah.
because he's obsessed with his mom. But it's messy. It's a messy
When you
family.
said that, it froze on such a weird face you made. I'm keeping that.
Hell yeah.
But you got anything else to say? I feel like that just sums it up. I feel like we got it right there. Is there anything else you want to
Yeah.
add?
Nah, I enjoyed it. I definitely liked it. And yeah, idols aren't that weird. Don't judge me. It's not that weird. I'm just like, yeah, I have like Wan Young as my background on my
Bro,
phone.
but like people watching this are gonna be fans of like idols and stuff. They're gonna be right with you. They're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, of course."
So like, all right, I'll wait till we end the pod to tell you that. Never mind. Yes, watch
Well,
it. It's
it's
good.
not the
Hoshino
pod, but hey,
rocks.
we do have an anime podcast. Comes out every Tuesday. It's called the Casual Podcast. It's in the link description. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. But yeah, I think that's it. Is it brilliant or bust? Really depends on if they play into the tropes. Really depends on the future. I think season 1 was brilliant. I think if you had to just grade season 1 and that's all we know, amazing. It was phenomenal. It was really good. And hey, they added that to Hulu. So if you haven't seen Oshinoko, go check it out on Hulu. Hopefully they add season 2 on there soon. Please add it soon because I'm definitely interested to get into season 2. Hopefully it doesn't get weird yet. But hey, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know down below. Do you love this anime? How do you feel a little weird about it? Let us know what you think about the anime. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed and peace.
Peace.